But is there a reason you don't want to talk about 4chan?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought
No.
you didn't want to be associated with 4chan or something.
That hacker.
Who is this 4chan?
Do we even know who is this 4chan?
That website that's a cesspool of anti-LGBT, even though they have a board on there.
That's an excellent point. Okay,
it's kind of like B, though. It's for dick rating.
Well, before we got started, I wanted to say
Yes.
there is a lot of preconceived notions of what
misconceptions.
4chan. Well, misconceptions. Some of it more based in reality than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest misunderstanding with 4chan and the rest of the internet, specifically the mainstream media, and then the people who listen to the mainstream media who then get this idea of 4chan being this boogeyman site where
I don't have no internal monologue. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I like how I'm trying to give us the benefit of the doubt, and then you instantly are putting you just I want to put the little chud face on top of you.
Normie's out.
Suddenly. No, 4chan has this reputation. Some of it is deserved, but a lot of it is extremely embellished by the media and certain types of people who are very eager to be offended. Mm-hmm. Is there a lot of racism on 4chan? Yes. Is there a lot of
racism on Facebook? Mm-hmm.
Is there a lot of nasty things that happen there on 4chan? Yes. Is there nasty stuff that happens on the internet? Yes.
Yes.
Does Reddit have creepy shit? Does everything? For whatever reason, 4chan got put on this pedestal, even though it really is. And the reason that, speaking for myself, the reason that I appreciate 4chan is because it is a totally unfiltered version of the internet. It's like what the internet used to be in the 90s.
Right.
Where there was no political correctness. People just said whatever they wanted. And it's funny to me because I know there are tons of people, especially on Reddit, there's the R4chan subreddit.
Subreddit, yeah.
There are so many Redditors who go on 4chan and spout all of their talk a bunch of shit.
Everything they can't say on Reddit.
And then go on Reddit and go get their good boy points. For sure, that's what happens.
Yeah. And you can tell because they double space.
You can tell because of the Reddit spacing.
Reddit spacing.
But so with that disclaimer out of the way.
Right.
Alex and I are part of the old school edgy boy collection from the early 2000s who were on Style Project and were on 4chan and Rotten.com. And we sought out the fringes of the internet. And the only one of those sites that's still around between Style Project, Rotten, I mean, even LiveLeak is gone, isn't it?
Oh, I haven't tried to find it for a long time. Yeah, a lot of those sites.
I haven't perused LiveLeak in a while.
Right, because at a certain point, they just kind of stopped being updated because whoever was, the owner of those was just kind of I got better stuff to do. Yeah, so
LiveLeak redirects to a different site now. I don't know what this site is. Don't go to it. Maybe. I don't know what this is. Itemfix.com. So anyway, that was our online youthful pedigree, was trying to find things that were offensive and weird and gross.
Bizarre.
The bizarre side of the internet. Things that you weren't going to see day to day.
Right.
And because of that, we've maintained a relationship with 4chan we're the old people on 4chan, even though I think a lot of 4chan are old people. Mm-hmm. There is definitely a strong millennial influence.
Definitely.
On 4chan.
You can tell. Depending upon the post and what's being said in those posts.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so B was the infamous board that had all of the random board where all of the crazy stuff happened by and large. Mm-hmm. But that board in the mid 2000s really kind of fell off and became a weird porno dump board that wasn't really fun anymore. And so we started gravitating towards the niche boards. Like I post on TV and film, you post on like Onaho General.
I liked going to they used to exist on ASP, and they were the biggest threads on ASP, but they created their own board called PW for professional wrestling.
Oh, that's right. You were on the wrestling board.
Food and cooking was another one that I really enjoyed. So as you can tell, that there's very specific boards. We had one for origami, photography.
Although even the origami board had a sexy origami section.
There was business had its one. Technology, where we talked about video game consoles, computers, upcoming operating systems and stuff like that. There was also fashion.
Which version of Linux is the best? And how it's like use Linux, but not that version of Linux.
Yeah, that would suck. That's what that. So there was also, literature, automotive. There was outdoors for all the boomers that like to go fishing and camping and stuff. So while the site itself was notorious for two boards, used to be more recent, probably I would say within the past 10 years, probably became poll, which was politically incorrect. Yeah. A lot of the rest of the boards were just very topic specific, and they had their own subcultures and in jokes and avatars and mascots.
Their own
and
culture.
Like
yeah.
And I remember when they didn't interact with each other, quite frankly.
I remember the early days, like 2007, poll was like this was like making fun of George Bush tier stuff. It wasn't. Yeah. It was. I remember going there and being like, "This is fucking lame." Like, what am I? Who's gonna? What kind of idiot would post on poll?
Yeah.
And then things changed.
Yeah, and they have like a bunch of different types of boards and stuff like that. And what was also fun about it is that every several months, every like 3 or 4 months, they would end up having a soccer tournament between the various types of boards called the 4chan Cup.
When did that start?
Probably 2017 or 18. I'm not.
Okay,
so that was the first I kind of started hearing.
It was
about
after 2016.
Yeah,
I thought it was fairly recently.
Yeah,
but
so
quite a while.
Yeah, so it was a bunch of guys that were on 4chan, and they would basically create teams of players, and each of the players was a mascot from a board or a meme or some funny line, and they would create a character, and it would be just two soccer teams. They would use Pro Evolution Soccer to run everything, and they had specific arenas and balls. It was a great, wonderful time. But about 2 weeks now, would you say? The notorious hacker known as 4chan was finally hacked himself.
I mean, 4chan had been hacked before.
Yeah.
But
and
this
was down
is
for a while.
the most significant hack that has happened.
Damaging, I would say. Yeah,
the most damaging.
Yeah, and it's this is the 23rd of April, and the site is still just nothing really happening, and it's kind of like, is it going to come back? Is it not going to come back? I don't know.
I definitely have stoked the flames in threads before, and been like someone posts like what is clearly a Russian photo, and then you just reply to that and say, "Do Americans really do this?" And you'll get the views just start piling up of like, "Hey asshole, that's clearly not the U.S." And it's just, you just sit back and go, I did that.
That was me, Mom.
And that's look at all my views, Mom. That's what people don't get. The anonymity of 4chan is what I think people, there's so much LARPing going on 4chan that people just take it all
for face value.
Normies take it at face value.
Yes.
And there are people who are sincere and believe the shit that they're saying, for better or worse. And then there are people who are just saying shit to piss each other off. Yeah. And that, I think, is the vast majority of the threads that I see.
Right. Yeah, there was a saying. I don't know if they still have the disclaimer up, but it's like, it was like everything posted on here is like a work of fiction. Only an idiot like
would take this seriously.
Take it serious, something like that. Yeah, like Canadians are not as tough as they seem on 4chan. I mean, does nobody watch Linus Tech Tips? I mean, come on.
Have you ever seen a Canadian?
Have you seen that guy?
Any Canadian watching this show is exempt from dumb American jokes. If you're a fan,
Yes.
if you're anyone besides Canadians are exempt from. At least
anyone
according to
who
Alex.
is on this particular list of Canadians that is in my head is exempt.
Can I, since we're just kind of going off into our own poll territory, I just need to say something about Canadians.
Let's go.
I watch a lot of my favorite like style of YouTube video right now are dudes doing videos on weird Japanese video games from the 90s and 80s. Or like even no 90s and 80s, like so like Neo Geo or sorry, there's like an alarm going off. Neo Geo, what was
PC Engine.
PC Engine, but what was the Panasonic?
Philips CDI.
Not the Philips CDI.
Or Panasonic had. You said
Panasonic. Yeah, Panasonic had a console.
The Apple Pippin.
I
can't think of Panasonic having a system.
Panasonic.
I wouldn't be surprised because every time I take a look at like the various generations of video games, like they do come up with like random companies.
I would say somebody's yelling at their screen right now. 3DO. It was the 3DO was the Panasonic. Yeah. So there's all these like weird eclectic
kids console.
The weird eclectic games, and there's a bunch of guys there's several who make videos on them, and every so often, I'll be listening to someone. There's two in particular I'm thinking of right now, where they'll say a word and I'll be like, "Is this motherfucker Canadian?"
How'd you pronounce that word?
Iron. Instead of iron.
Like iron. They say Iron Warriors instead of Iron Warriors.
It's something I've noticed multiple Canadians. If you're a Canadian, let us know in the comments. But it's something that I hear. It's one of the tell. It's a tell where I'll be like, "This motherfucker's Canadian."
Yeah.
But to give credit where credit's due, just to plug.
Yeah. One thing that gets on my nerves is when they say processor.
Yeah.
Instead of processors.
Linus does that a lot.
Luke does that.
Well, all of them. It's British. It's British English. It's English.
They say American. Like we speak American. And I'm like, so what do you guys talk?
Modular is one guy that I watch. He's Canadian. Good videos. And Boulder Punch, another guy who does similar stuff. Another guy who I listen to. I'm like falling asleep, and then it's the meme of like the dude falling asleep. It's like processor, and then the like laser eyes.
The laser eyes, come on.
Me falling asleep listening to Modular.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know why what did Canada do? Why were we being mean to Canadians?
Because of 4chan. Because it was just it was a way for a lot of people just kind of like basically go back to their old grade school play yard days and just talk shit about each other without actually getting any like real consequences of any sort.
And the other the thing that one of the metaphors for 4chan that I always thought was perfect was it's bathroom graffiti. It's the internet version of bathroom graffiti. It's just people talking shit on the internet
while taking a shit.
There's a purity. There's a purity to it that you don't get on non-anonymous sites or any site that gives you good boy points. Right.
Yeah, and I think speaking of good boy points, I feel like that is something that's unfortunately taken over a lot of the internet because on 4chan there's no good boy or bad boy points. It's that if somebody says something, you can just call them out in the next post and just say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And you can dogpile, or people can dogpile on the commentator or the responder. All these other like, sterilized 4chan-esque sites.
Or like discussion sites.
Discussion boards. They don't have any type of mechanism or rating to basically disagree with somebody's kind of thing.
Reddit
does, because you can get downvoted by like Facebook, for example.
Right.
They have like a thumbs up. But
it's the same with YouTube. They got rid of the dislike counter. Like we can see it. I think our most unpopular video in recent memory was the drinking episode, which isn't surprising because drinking is always a sensitive topic.
In Canada,
we got 50%. I'd have to look at the stats again. I think Canada might be number 3 or 4.
Mauritania
for how many viewership we get. I swear it was something like, it wasn't. I'm sure it was top 5, but it wasn't. I took a screenshot. I was going to send you this picture because I thought you would have been interested in it, but now I don't know where I put it.
A little longer than a few minutes later,
4chan got taken down. And remains to be seen if it comes back. But Wired has this article that I thought was
good old Wired
that I thought was interesting.
Speaking
I laughed
at
the engagement of this on X.
Mm-hmm.
It had like 3 comments and like 20 likes.
Yeah.
Like 13 retweets.
Yeah.
And I was like...
And they have 9 million followers.
Yes.
That's the best part.
It was hilarious how unpopular their little shitty article was.
I feel like it's for any type of like media group or anything that's on Twitter or any type of like social media. They're like, oh, we've got all these followers. And it's like, yeah, but nobody interacts with you, man.
They're... I mean, it's not like we're, knocking it out of the park every week, but but we're also not trying.
We have more views than Wired gets likes on the posts.
True. That is a devastating stat. I was laughing that the post after this 4chan. We will eventually. Sorry, everybody. We will get to this article in a second, but I was laughing because let me find it while I'm talking about it. The article, the next post, the next article after they posted their 4chan article was about that movie Conclave, which was
very timely.
Well, it was saying how like viewership jumped up after the Pope died, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the stats on that article versus the stats on the 4chan article made me chuckle because of how... Okay, so here we go. Let me throw this over on this screen. And here we go. All right. So here's the article from Wired. It's likely there will never be a site like 4chan carry its toxic legacy. Okay, so here's the link to the article. 4 comments, 16 retweets, 29 likes, 9 million subscribers, or 9 million subscribers. 9 million subscribers. Okay, next article. Viewership for Conclave jumped up because of the death of the Pope. 7 comments, 76 retweets, 164. What?
Can I ask you a question? Because you might know this.
Yes.
That stat with a 32K, what exactly does that mean? Is it people that have clicked on that or just scrolled by and saw it?
I believe it scrolled by and saw it. These are impressions.
Okay.
Or views.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's just times that it went by people's screens. So anyway, here's the article. 4chan is dead. Its toxic legacy is everywhere. This is by Mr. Ryan Broderick. Posted yesterday.
You sent me real name, sir?
It is his real name because we'll get to something about this that made me like. Did you read this article?
I perused it. Yes.
Okay. You're just like, I read the headline and that was enough.
I knew this was going to be.
I love that. Just that starts off with what I think sounds like bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
My earliest memory of 4chan was sitting up late at night, typing its URL into my browser, and scrolling through a thread of lolcat memes, which were brand new at the time. Back then, a Photoshop of a cat saying, "I can has cheeseburger," or an image of an owl saying, "Oh really," was, without question, the funniest thing my 14-year-old brain had ever laid eyes on. So much so I woke up my dad.
Well named, my friend.
woke up my dad by laughing too hard and had to tell him that I was scrolling through pictures of cats at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Does your house not have walls or doors?
His first experience of 4chan was looking at a lolcat thread. Bullshit. What board was he on? Now, I'm not saying that there weren't lolcat threads on B.
Right.
But there was a lot more shit going on B than lolcat threads. Was there, like, I don't know what year this would have been, but was there even an animal board back then? Probably not.
I don't think so. I think the animals might have been possibly like part of like the outdoor thread, or the outdoors board, and then kind of split off eventually, or just random threads.
And just to be clear, when I say animal board, it's literally a board where people post pictures of animals.
Yes.
It's not like dead
Fish.
Animals. It's not bestiality.
No.
It's pictures of people who are like, post cool pictures of corgis.
Yeah.
Post funny cats. Post lions.
Post pictures of your aquarium or your lizard's cage and stuff like that.
Snack bros rise up. Like it's that kind.
Exactly. Yeah. Does this look infected on my corgi?
Does this look infected? Okay, so there would have been an animal board in 2006.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that was one of the OG ones. I love that they have, I don't know what the source of this information is, but I love that Wikipedia allegedly has when each board was made. My Little Pony 2012.
Yeah, we needed that one.
The first containment board that I remember.
Definitely needed that one. But I don't think that the cheeseburger cat would be on the animal board. I feel like that would be just more of a...
It was like a
B tier.
A Catterday board.
Yeah, they could.
Or Catterday thread, I should say. Okay, so this guy's saying that 4chan apparently wiped off the internet entirely last week by hackers of a rival message board. The current Twitter status is basically that it's coming back, but to be determined when they figure that out. That's not what the topic is for us tonight.
Rival message board that nobody really heard about prior to this.
Yeah, I never heard. Soyjack.party.
Yeah, Soyjack Party. Supposedly it was like a play on like the whole lemon party type of thing.
Oh, is that what it's?
So I heard that was some story. It was like a containment site for the Soyjack memes.
I explained this lore to Liz, and the look on her face was beautiful.
Did you direct her then to the Justin Wang video that accompanied it?
She was engaged by it, though, because it was like, okay, here's what happened. Because she knows that I use 4chan. So I was like, Liz, 4chan's down. She was like, oh, no, what happened? What are you going to do? And she even asked me every day, is it back? I'm like, no, it's not. It's not back. It's still in triage.
Not yet, Virginia. There is no Santa Claus yet.
So it's like, there was a board called QA. That was supposed to be for question and answer, and like, wasn't it like supposed to be with the mods and stuff? It was sort of like a meta board.
Yeah. Okay. Or VIP was another one. Some Robot 9000. They're all kind of that stuff. But
nobody used it, and Soyjack posters took it over and started posting only Soyjacks or was it Soyjacks or just Wojacks in general?
I think it was Soyjacks and became Jacks of all kind.
Jacks of all trades.
Jacks of all trades.
So. And then Hiroshimoot didn't like
that board.
Didn't like it, and so they locked the board. Well, all of the ex-Soyjack posters fled to make their own board and never forgave 4chan for killing their board. You didn't know that? That's the lore for what happened here.
Because it was such a popular board to begin with. That's why I didn't remember this board.
So then it took them a year and a half, I think, was plotting the revenge for taking down their board.
What a movie this would be.
Yeah. So this guy basically goes into here. This is where it gets good. My experience with the more toxic side of the site came several years later after my lolcat all-nighter. When I was in college, I was a big Tumblr user.
That tells you everything. You outed yourself.
Yeah, it's period, and we're done. All my friends were on there, and for about a year or so, our corner of the platform felt like an extension of the house parties we would throw. That cozy vibe came crashing down for me when I got doxxed the summer going into my senior year. Someone made a hate blog for me, one of the first times I felt the dark presence of an anonymous stranger's digital ire, and posted my phone number on 4chan. So I don't know, this seems like a very personal attack to be
on
that
today's
started
episode of shit that never happened.
Well, it's funny to me though, because it's like this was started as a personal vendetta. Some guy made a site that it's probably his roommate didn't like him or something.
Yeah,
posted his phone number to 4chan. Okay, well this 4chan will hop on to this, of course, but listen to what the big drama was. They played a prank that was popular at the time, writing in a thread that my number was for a GameStop store that had a copy of the ultra-rare video game Battletoads. I received no less than 250 phone calls over the next 48 hours asking if I had a copy of the game. That is the drama that he's worried about.
Because people...
calling to ask if he has Battletoads.
That's
which is
kind of an old joke, too.
It's an old joke, but it's like, in terms of 4chan... pranks,
nothing really nefarious.
No, it's pretty innocent.
I also find it funny in the previous paragraph he said his first experience with the more toxic side of the site came several years after when he was in college. So he went from all of high school on 4chan not having anything toxic to all of a sudden then going to college, and now it's getting toxic. Well,
it's also like it's because he pissed somebody off in college who got a hate boner for him, and then knew 4chan enough to be like, hey, if I post this, usually though, and here's where my old user wink nature comes out, is my reply would have been, not your personal army. Like, what must have been a slow night on 4chan, because usually these people get told to fuck off.
I wonder if he got it posted on like B, or was it like...
I would imagine B.
Meetups or something? Yeah.
No, I think this would have been a B thing. I'd be curious to see. I want this guy to go find his post and post it in the archives. Post a picture.
Yeah, post or get the fuck out.
Post tits or get the fuck out.
Yeah. Post or GTFO.
Sharpie and Pooper. Or get the fuck out. I listened to all of them. The pattern quickly emerged. Young men clearly nervous to even leave a message, trying to harass a stranger for seemingly the hell of it. Well, yeah. It's anarchy. Those voicemails have never left me in the 15 years I've spent covering 4chan as a journalist.
We've never heard of you.
Well, why would we? We never look into these people. The only reason we're even reading about this guy now is because 4chan got hacked.
That's the only reason he also has an article out.
Now we get into the drama. I had a front row seat to the way those timid men morphed into the violent, seething underbelly of the internet.
What a pussy.
I will say that poll in 2015, 2016 definitely changed the vibe of 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that 2015, 2016 changed the vibe of the world in general. And it wasn't just poll.
It was the internet in general also.
I remember Reddit changing on a dime after Election Day in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't have a problem with Reddit for a long time. I used Reddit for a long time without any kind of like hesitancy of what was going on that site. And really it was the 2016 election just like completely changed the vibe of what that site was doing. And so that cultural shift happened everywhere. It wasn't just 4chan. It was every online. Facebook changed. Twitter changed. Mm-hmm. Everything changed. And the only thing that separated them, any of these platforms, was what side you were on. But even with 4chan, I think that acting like it's this hard right website is not entirely accurate. That's like one slice of that pie.
Yeah. That was always like that to begin with too. And yes, the election period and the election season did kind of accelerate that.
I think that like in the early 2000s when we were first getting turned on to it, it was a much more libertarian site.
Yeah.
It definitely swung into the normal traditional right-wing conservative Republican zone in 2016. I think that that's true. But as you kind of made a comment about is like, 4chan is seen as this incredibly racist and incredibly homophobic place that has mysteriously a specific board for LGBTQ users.
Yeah, and there would be multiple threads sometimes on there about like, what was it, HRT threads or something like that. Like comparison, but like, hey, there were like progression threads and stuff.
And the news board is like lefty pole.
Love it. Yeah, that was they had a counterbalance just because.
Yes.
Okay, was it because it wasn't as popular as pole? Okay, maybe that's why. But there's also an origami board. There's fashion. There was a lot of other things. It's like complaining about one specific thing on Facebook without taking into account anything else that's on that site. The
thing that I find crazy is that like. And maybe somebody has written this, or I'm sure other people, but Wired isn't the venue that would publish it. But all 4chan is, if you look at Poll and you look at sort of like the right-wing leanings of a lot of 4chan, it's just an inversion of Reddit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Reddit swings extremely left.
Yeah.
It's one of the main criticisms of Reddit is that it goes from being Democrat to progressive to extreme. The same way 4chan has its libertarians and its like centrist leanings, and then you get further into the crazy conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah.
But the funny, like everyone like does QAnon as being a 4chan thing, and it wasn't a 4chan thing. It was an eight or Infinity Chan thing.
And there was some stuff about QAnon at the time, but it like nobody really paid it that much credence because it was more of like you're talking or posting about it more in a mocking manner.
Exactly. So again, it's like the arguments he's making are very like cherry picked.
He says he traveled the world in the 2010s tracing 4chan's impact on global democracy. Is like,
wait, where is this? Oh, here.
In that the one above it, yeah.
Closely followed.
Yeah.
He didn't travel anywhere.
Well, in the previous paragraph, he says they from Japan and France and stuff, and like, who is this jet-setting person that's following an internet site across the world? It's just like, it just seems like a lot of this stuff. It's like, oh, you went traveling around the world? Oh, okay. Is the world in the room with us right now? Could you point him out? Okay. Show us on the doll where the world touched you.
It's yeah. 4chan's user base just moved into a bigger ballpark and started immediately impacting American life and policy. Twitter became 4chan, then the 4chanified Twitter became the United States government. This is it's funny to me that people think that in a Thai basket weaving forum,
underwater Mongolian water golf board
can do that. It's just interesting to see that 4chan was like this taboo mystique in the early 2000s that has morphed into this danger to democracy. According to this guy.
Yes, which nobody's ever visited. And there's also that one paragraph, if you scroll up, I feel like not this one, but the one above, the 4chan users were anonymous. If you scroll back up.
Sorry.
Yeah, the next one up. That one right there, 4chan was founded. I feel like he just basically paraphrased like the origin section on the Wikipedia page for 4chan. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. I find this guy's story to be very dubious and Swiss cheesy.
Well, I just like, again, we've got another Tumblr. Tumblr users are just pissy because they got pwned, if you will, by 4chan in like 2010.
Yeah, they're in the Tumblr war. They're in that glorious raid.
during the Tumblr wars. That was,
and that's another thing. Like a lot of these,
I served in the Tumblr wars.
a lot of these message boards, forums, websites, internet subculture sites used to be at odds with each other, and nobody really cared about it, and you only hear about it years down the road when somebody makes a video about it, and they were fine having their own little universes to deal with because they just, quite frankly, didn't care about anything else.
Holderness calls 4chan the internet's Wild West. That's a cliche, but apt. It's accurate, but it is a cliche to call 4chan the Wild West. Says its demise, this mouth felt appropriate in a way. The chaos that defined 4chan, both the good and the very, very bad. I like how he added to add very, very bad. Both the good and the bad has largely been paved over by corporate platforms and their algorithms now. Our feeds deliver us content. We don't have to hunt for it. We don't have to sit in front of a computer refreshing a page to find out whether we're getting a new cat meme or a new manifesto.
Him and his cat memes again. Jesus Christ.
The humanness of that era of the web, now that 4chan is gone, is likely never coming back, and we'll eventually find out if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's obviously a bad thing. I love how Wired is questioning if the death of human production in favor of algorithmic feeding you the slop you want, as opposed to seeing a wide... This is... The original reason I wanted to talk about 4chan had nothing to do with 4chan going down, because that just happened.
It's the reaction of peoples.
Why I wanted to talk about the April Fool's prank, which basically collapsed, it killed all of the boards and brought everyone back to B, basically. And I loved it because it was back to being
a goofy side again.
Well, all of the over specialization was gone. So, like, if you wanted to talk about a movie, there was a movie thread that was getting bumped up and down. And if you wanted to talk, like, oh, hey, check out this origami I learned to make, that thread, they were all in the same place. And so I was seeing
my picture of the sunrise.
I was seeing all this stuff that I wouldn't normally see because it wasn't part of the algorithm for me. I wasn't going to the TV board to talk about movies. I was stuck on the B board of random shit that I never would have, wrestling stuff going by, music threads going by.
Yeah.
And that's what I like and miss about the internet is endless discoveries. And now you're just given what you want. And I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think that people like this don't like that. They want it to be wink, wink censored. Yeah. They want to make sure that nobody's getting naughty ideas. And I think that's
also
not a good thing.
Yeah, I think also another problem for this guy is that what do you have to write about now that 4chan's gone?
I know, especially his full 15-year career.
Your 15-year your 15-year career spanning the globe, hunting for the notorious 4chan, this hacker extreme has now come to a conclusion, and you didn't catch him, Inspector Clouseau. It's just like, what are you going to do now?
He may have been just a system administrator who knew his way around and how to hack things. It seems like this was not a real, a big effort, but was more of I have these usernames, I know of this loophole, this security loophole.
Okay.
I'm just going to run this password app.
This guy's got to be like, was it early 30s?
Yeah, I'd say early 30s.
I mean, he sounds like some...
Here, let's dox him.
He sounds like one of those, like, PTO Karens saying about, like, oh, this naughty 4chan, even though he was looking at this stuff years ago. I don't understand why you're like, oh my goodness, this thing was you know what it is? It's that meme of the person that's watching the movie from they're like, oh, I enjoyed this movie back in my 20s. Let's see what it's like now. Oh my God, this is problematic.
Ryan Broderick is an American journalist. He worked for BuzzFeed from 2012 to 2020. Wait.
How could he do that when he was jet setting?
Senpai.
Hi. Oh my God.
Ryan Broderick is an American journalist. He worked for BuzzFeed from 2012 to 2020, where he was a senior journalist at the tech news desk until he was fired for plagiarism. He also reported for Vice and Gawker. This is the guy lecturing you about 4chan's ethics. I think we should just end it right there.
Boy.
I'm just saying. What the I did not know that. I did not plan that.
And didn't I point out that one paragraph that looked exactly like a paraphrasing of a Wikipedia article? I mean, you can take the reporter out of Gawker, but you can't take the Gawker out of the reporter.
Oh no. Oh, brilliant. That's fantastic.
4chan 1, journalists 0.